There's Purnima Murli also joining us live. But Purnima, Aragiri's homecoming bid into the DMK seems to be a bit of a non-starter given the whole host of political reactions we've been getting since yesterday. But can MK Stalin really ignore the elder brother's nuisance value at this point of time?
Well, at least over the last 24 hours, the DMK says that they are really not considering Aragiri's statement too seriously, which is why they have requested even the spokespeople to not react to that, saying that they say that Aragiri is no threat for the DMK because over the last 2 years, ever since Karunanidhi was inactive in politics, it was MK Stalin who was handling the party's functioning and was also raising issues against the centre and the state over the last 2 years. So the party cadre knew that it was M. Karunanidhi who wanted MK Stalin to succeed him, and that there is nothing that Aragiri can do. In fact, sources from the DMK also maintained that yes, Aragiri does have a few supporters in Madurai, especially the south of Tamil Nadu, but not more than 100 supporters for Aragiri. Even if he were to again become active in politics, it will be not more than 100 supporters who will be supporting Aragiri's announcement. Whether it's going to be floating his own party or extending his support to an existing party, that remains to be seen in the coming days or months. But however, there will be a few supporters, especially in Madurai and a few other districts around Madurai. So that's something that the DMK sources say, and they remain unfazed, saying it is really not going to create a dent for the DMK in the upcoming elections.
Right, Purnima, continue to stay with us. Revati also continue to stay with us. We are being joined on the phone line by Narayan Lakshman, who is the associate editor of The Hindu, for more perspective on this. Mr. Narayan Lakshman, what is your sense of this succession war which is breaking out within the DMK? In fact, Karunanidhi's decision to show Aragiri the door was a clear indication as to who his political successor is going to be, and his choice was clearly MK Stalin.
Yes, absolutely. Stalin was appointed in as formal a process as you could expect from the DMK leadership, although he may not have officially said he's his successor. The very fact, as you mentioned, that he was working president and was neatly supposed to step into Karunanidhi's shoes means that plan was in place. Obviously, Aragiri's challenge has completely shaken that assumption up. But at the same time, as you mentioned, a lot of the heavyweights of the cadre still stand with Stalin, and therefore there is no immediate concern for him. I think the bigger concern for Stalin would be the future, which is that if he fails to deliver on any of the upcoming by-elections, say in Tirupurankundram or in Tiruvarur, and then fails to deliver in the 2019 Lok Sabha election, then the MLAs and other party heavyweights may actually consider an alternative, and Aragiri has now suggested that he is the most viable alternative. So in that regard, Stalin does have to take the threat seriously with an eye on the future.
You know, Aragiri's ambitions are quite well known, and at this point of time, what is your sense, Narayan Lakshman, as far as who the party cadre are supporting, or is it also possible that Aragiri is not getting the support and he will contest independently?
I think that's fairly unlikely because honestly, as we all know, elections in Tamil Nadu and elsewhere too take an enormous amount of money. And so far as the formal structure of the DMK and the party's treasury and its coffers are concerned, it is Stalin and his coterie who are controlling the purse strings. Therefore, from a sheer financing point of view, Aragiri would come up lacking. Secondly, he also lacks the sort of the political mobilization capability because while he, as you correctly said, he certainly does enjoy some local support in the Madurai area and maybe the 5 surrounding districts there. But that does not automatically translate into the ability to deliver election results because, you know, that is based on finance, that is based on networking capability. And all of that is definitely lacking where Aragiri is.
You know, you mentioned Madurai as well. So Aragiri perhaps will try to damage Stalin's prospects in Madurai and adjoining areas as well by floating a rival like perhaps a DMK party. You know, this could be perhaps music to the ears of the AIA, DMK and the TT Vidyanakaran faction as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. He has already proven his ability to do that. In the 2009, I think, Lok Sabha election, he did something similar. And he is certainly capable of playing spoiler and he can remove a chunk of the votes that other parties could get, and that's definitely what the DMK could get. So yes, there will be others such as the ADMK, maybe even other parties such as the BJP, who are quite quietly excited about what kind of impact he could have. But whether or not that leads to any gains for any of the others remains to be seen, because, as I said, Aragiri remains himself an untested quantity, and or he has been only erratically involved in elections. So besides being a pure spoiler effect, it is not clear that he would join any alliance or deliver results for any other party at this point in time. As you said, the future is quite open, and we could see any kind of change coming from this challenge.
Is it safe to say, Narayan Lakshman, that what Aragiri said yesterday in the media conference was old wine in a new bottle?
Well, it is old wine in a new bottle, except there's a little bit of new spice that's been added because of the passage of Karnanidhi himself. And Aragiri's comments gain additional significance in that regard, because obviously, so long as the patriarch of the party, Kalaignar, was alive, there was no question of mounting this kind of challenge. But right now, his challenge to Stalin is far more credible, and it's a credible threat because of the absence of Karnanidhi as the sort of linchpin of the entire party holding everything together.
Right, unless, of course, his mother makes an emotional pitch right there.
Well, his mother, or indeed their sister Selvi, who is supposed to be have a reputation as a peacemaker and who is quite close to Aragiri, and some say that even Kanimuri in some regards is very close to Aragiri after Aragiri was sort of leaning towards her, helpful towards her with regards to the Sun TV shares distribution and so forth. So these are factors, these are people who could try to bring it together at a family level. But let's not forget that at the family politics and the party politics, while they are very closely interwoven, they also have different factors affecting them. So in this case, though there may be pressure from Selvi or other for the brothers to come together, the party cadre has decided to completely be silent in this regard, so that to not even give Aragiri that level of importance in the matter. And as you can see from even yesterday, there have been no commentators, no public reaction from the DMK on this comment by Aragiri.
That's right. Narayan Lakshman, thanks so much for joining us with your viewpoint right there. We also have Purnima Murli, who is reporting the story and is on top of it. Purnima, how is the DMK reacting to this particular succession war which is breaking out in the DMK? Perhaps this is an opportunistic moment for them.
Well, there has been no response yet from the state government. This is something that we saw after the demise of Jayalalitha with regard to the AIADMK, where Paneerselvam suddenly revolted against Shashikla, and then the developments took place. But that took at least 2 to 3 months before Paneerselvam decided to go against Shashikla, when he was initially made the chief minister, and then in February is when he revolted. But here it's less than 6 days since Karnanidhi breathed his last, and then Aragiri made a statement at Marina after he paid respects to his late father. Clearly, it's something that happened in 2017 with regard to the AIADMK, and in the DMK, Aragiri and Stalin are known to be rivals for many years. But even the DMK did not expect Aragiri to make a statement just 6 days after Karnanidhi's death. So that is something that the DMK didn't expect. They thought perhaps it could take a little more longer for Aragiri to speak out. So the AIADMK is just waiting and watching for the developments to take place to know to really know
so
what
no formal
Aragiri plans
reaction
to do,
coming in there
what
from the
his
state
plans
government
are
on
moving
this issue
forward,
as well.
whether he will be floating his.
Right.
That's right. No formal. They are just saying that they are waiting and watching.
Right, that's right. In fact, if we have Narayan Lakshman still with us, who is the associate editor of The Hindu. Narayan Lakshman, you like the AIADMK. We are seeing a rebellion within the DMK as well, through an extremely mild one if you go to compare what happened after the death of J. Jayalalitha as well. But after the demise of these two towering giants, whether it was Jayalalitha or whether it was Karunanidhi, would you say that Dravidian politics in Tamil Nadu will perhaps not be the same again?
Absolutely. I do think that Dravidian politics has gone through an inflection point. historically, because it began in a far more radical form where you had the anti-Hindi agitation, the anti-North India, anti-Brahmin viewpoint. And that movement, as you know, has changed into something that is far more inclusive and accommodating of many other caste groups, and has focused much more on mass welfare politics. So, you had the noon meal scheme and so forth. And from the, say, 70s, 80s and beyond, that became a sort of tit-for-tat competition between Karunanidhi and Jayalalitha as they sought to provide freebies. And in some cases, that also affected the finances of the state, often bringing it to the point of absolute bankruptcy around 2001. So now you are looking at what you could call the third phase of the Dravidian movement, where, as you correctly pointed out, there has been a power vacuum in both parties. But at the same time, the power vacuum has meant that leaders who were controlling these parties with an iron hand, with an iron fist, and they were also responsible for large-scale corruption. Let's be honest about it. There was a large-scale corruption happening hand in hand with the mass welfare politics. That has also gone now. I mean, of course, there is corruption as a culture of the state. But the important point is that the people of the state have a rare opportunity now to vote in leaders who could bring about good governance for the first time in nearly 50 years. So you can go beyond mass welfare politics, but you can also you can slowly bring in leadership who will help you get rid of corruption, or at least bring it to a level where it's comparable to other states of India. Right now, Tamil Nadu is a runaway state. It is a standout state in terms of how much corruption there is. So this is an opportunity for the people of the state.
Right. We also have Narayan Tirupati of the BJP joining us for more on this and to give us his first up reaction right here. Narayan Tirupati, how are you viewing the situation, the succession war which is breaking out within the DMK as well? We saw this happen in the AIADMK, so it's a deja vu situation as far as Tamil Nadu is concerned.
This is totally DMK's internal party affair and their family affair. What do you expect BJP to have opinion? We don't have any opinion or
BJP can have an opinion on the overall lay of the land as far as Tamil Nadu politics is concerned, because the Dravidian politics in the lay of the land is all about a change. After the death of Jayalalitha and Karunanidhi, you will see that massive vacuum in your state. So of course you would have an opinion.
Definitely. We have been saying that after the demise of late Jayalalitha and also Mr. Karunanidhi, there is definitely a very big vacuum in Tamil Nadu's politics. And definitely there are no big leaders who had people's acceptance. There are no big leaders like all these, both Mr. Karunanidhi and Jayalalitha. And definitely people will want a change. They have to change the pattern of voting. From voting for a leader to voting for a party which performs and which gives good governance, which have good policies. So BJP will take this opportunity to the people of Tamil Nadu. We will say that yes, here is a party which can give good governance and perform well. That is what we will do.
Right. Thanks so much, Narayan Tirupati, for your viewpoint right there. Revati is also joining us live now. Revati, net, and this is the last question before we wrap up actually. What are your sources saying? This is a crucial meeting of the DMK which is going to take place. It is the executive committee meeting that is taking place. What is the expectation that will transpire in this particular meeting? What can we expect?